This is the Idiot Entrepreneur Podcast with
John,
and Kelley,
where no one is smarter than you. We're all just a bunch of idiots figuring out business and life one day at a time. Welcome to another episode of Idiot Entrepreneur. What's up, idiots?
Welcome, idiots.
How's everybody doing?
Hello, we're doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, we're asking ourselves. That's funny. Welcome to another episode. Before we get started today, I wanted to say if you guys get any value out of this podcast, to rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, forward it to someone else who might benefit from it, and like us on iTunes, because that really helps us out.
It does. We would very much appreciate it. And if you do that, we can keep bringing you value. And that's how it works.
That's true. That's what we're here for, to bring value to you guys and to give you something that means something to you guys. So if you guys like the podcast, rate it, subscribe on iTunes, and share it with someone else.
Exactly. Okay, so speaking of value, we're going to bring you some value today with some practical advice.
What may that advice be?
So today our topic is going to be about time management.
Boring.
Okay, I know. Hopefully I didn't lose you already. Hopefully you didn't just hit stop and take out your earbuds. So
I'm already bored.
Are you serious? It's art. What the hell? You're not supposed to act bored. Cool. So time management. And it sounds like a boring topic, but if you think it's a boring topic, then your time management probably sucks ass. All right? That's just a fact. So if the most effective people in the world are diligent about time management, everybody has heard that Elon Musk has his calendar scheduled out to in 5-minute increments, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Which is a little crazy. I don't know about that, but really, what you realize when you have real goals, time management is so critical. It's not really, until you have really super clear goals that it becomes really important. If you're just kind of going through the motions every day and, you don't really have anything that you're aiming for, it might not be that important to you. But when you have a business or you have some clear goals, time management is critical because you want to get to those goals as quick as possible. It's a topic we've all heard about since we were young. You hear your parents tell you, oh, you better manage your time better. Your teachers will say it, whatever, and you usually just roll your eyes and you don't give it a lot of importance. But I'm here to tell you that this is going to be one of the keys that is going to get you to success and get you there faster. Right, John?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's so critical to focus on not necessarily time, but managing your time appropriately. Otherwise, how many times has it happened where you start working on something and then you look at the clock again and 3 hours literally have gone by? That shit used to happen to me a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, most things can get done in much less time than you give them. So it's just, trust me, start implementing some of these things we're going to talk about, and you will see how much more you could actually get done if you paid attention to the time. This has become really important to John and I ever since we first started our business. We were both working full-time jobs, which meant that we had to figure out how to manage our time well and quick. Because, we were working all day and we had a lot of, your business and your customers and your employees don't care that you have a full-time job, and generally they don't know because you don't tell them. And so you're going to be, hit up all day throughout the day for your side business in addition to your regular job. And so if you don't manage your time well, you are going to be underwater and stressed out and not doing anything well. And I think this is particularly applicable right now because a lot of people have had to switch from working in an office environment to working from home. And if that's you have probably very quickly realized how easily time can slip away from you and how much discipline is required to actually get things done. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we can say for sure we're, as people that work from home, if we aren't on ourselves and aren't disciplined, I mean, you could let the whole day get by and have done nothing, and it's very very easy. So, yeah. So basically, we are going to talk about how to manage your time. I think we've basically spoken about why it's important already, but basically the idea here is that if you don't manage your time well, you're not going to be able to get to your goals. For example, if you have a goal of generating X amount of dollars of side income this year, but you don't lay out a plan for managing your time to get it done, you either A, won't get it done, which is the most likely, or B, it's going to take you way longer. So instead of making X in this year, it'll take you 3 years because you didn't manage your time. Because ultimately, things creep in, one thing leads to another, and you've prioritized other things over your goals. So, yeah, we're going to talk about 5 tips for effective time management to ensure that you are making the most out of your time.
Exactly. So there's this, before we get into that, there's a law called Parkinson's law, not Parkinson's disease, Parkinson's law.
How terrible to
I
bring that
know,
up.
that's horrible. Parkinson's law, well, basically it means work expands so as to fill up the time available for its completion. So basically, like if you set aside 2 hours for a task that takes only 30 minutes, you will take up the full 2 hours to complete the task because you set aside 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they've found that people are so much more effective um, when they're not required to work like an 8 hour workday, because what they find is that a lot of people just take like one thing and fill up the full 8 hours just working on like one or two tasks. Whereas you could actually get a lot more done, but if you don't allocate an available amount of time to get something done, you're not going to be really motivated or inspired to bust your ass and get it done within that amount of time.
Yeah, actually, I remember there was a country, I forget which country, I think it was Switzerland or Germany, that did a study where they had employees work 4 hours.
Switzerland.
Yeah, it was Switzerland. Yeah, it was like
Mm-hmm.
4 hours instead of 8 hours a day at work, and they found that productivity skyrocketed when they had people working half the time, but being more focused on completing tasks within a shorter period of time, which goes
Yeah,
to show you how much time is wasted.
it does, absolutely. And also, this should be kind of hopeful for you because if you're hearing this, if you just heard what John said, they got more done in 4 hours than they got done in 8 when they paid attention to time management.
Yeah,
So, that means for you, especially if you work from home, you can work half the time and
yeah,
you'll be able to do more if you're doing this right.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, the
Step.
first, do you want to talk about the first one, John?
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do
okay.
it. Yeah, so the first tip for effective time management is calendar blocking. So you might have heard like sort of what Kelly saying earlier with Elon Musk. Successful people talk about this, such as breaking down your day into literally 5 minute increments by blocking off 5 minutes of time for this, 1 hour for this, 20 minutes for this. People talk about this because it works. So, calendar blocking is simply breaking your day out into little chunks and scheduling a time for nearly everything. So that goes from lunch to,
Commute
taking a
time if you
shower,
commute.
commute time, breakfast, lunch, dinner, gym, fitness, and relaxation time, work, and breaking that down even further. So a block for getting ready, for example, 1 hour, a block for exercise, hour and a half, a block for working on your business, for example, 4 hours. But instead of taking 4 hours to aimlessly work, you will schedule out exactly what you're doing in that 4 hour time span and for how long. So you break that 4 hour time span down into, let's say, 30-minute increments of 30 minutes on marketing, 45 minutes on hiring, 20 minutes on following up on emails, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and wait a minute, hold on. What was I gonna
Time
say?
blocking.
Yeah, it's related to time blocking. I'll think of it in a minute. But first thing is that you need to schedule this out like literally schedule
Yeah.
it, put it in a calendar. I have mine in Google Calendar, and it's color coded, and it's got reminders it's got 10-minute notifications for every single block. And that might seem a little bit extra, but the, um, I can't tell you how much that has helped. So it's blocked out. I have a block, a larger block for example, working on our main business. And that's broken out into an hour for this, 30 minutes for this. And then I have a block for, side businesses that we're working on, specific tasks I'm doing within those. And you even need to schedule out your emails. That was what I was going to say, is that reading emails and responding to them, that's kind of something that a lot of people think is like ongoing throughout the day. It shouldn't be. That is a huge time suck. And if you were to actually pay attention and realize how much time you're wasting checking your email throughout the day and responding at people's beck and call, that's just silly and it's wasting time. So you even need to schedule out time to check and respond to emails. So me personally, I have 2 blocks every single day, 15-minute blocks set to check emails and respond. And then what happens is, if you can't finish all of it within that amount of time, whenever you have a little bit of extra time at the end of one of your other tasks, just jump on your email and do that again. But literally, when we say schedule out everything, we mean everything. And it might seem like a lot, but it's really going to organize your life, and it's going to help you really pay attention and manage things very well.
Yep, exactly. So that takes us to number 2, timing yourself. You want to do that one?
Yeah, so the second one really piggybacks off the first one, which was calendar blocking. The second one is time yourself. So, you've gone and created time blocks on your calendar. Now you have to make sure you adhere to those time blocks by timing yourself. For example, if you schedule yourself to work on hiring for 1 hour, literally set a timer for 1 hour and do nothing else during that block of time. Literally, don't do anything else, work on that hiring, and then when the hour is up, you drop everything and you move on to the next. And that's gonna just, number 1, Parkinson's law again. Maybe hiring used to take you 4 hours, you give it an hour, I promise you'll get more done than you could ever imagine in that hour of time. And 2, it helps you respect time again, because you're not just saying, oh, well, I didn't finish hiring yet, so I'm gonna go an extra 30 minutes or another extra hour. No, you get as much done as you possibly can, and then you move on to the next when that time is up. And a little tip here is to get a timer that's not on your phone, because when you time things on your phone, you're more tempted to get distracted, to look at text messages, emails, what have you. So I have a little timer that I got on Amazon, and you can buy them. They're really cheap, but it's really cool. It's like a little cube, and it has different times. And so you just flip it to whatever amount of time that you want to time. Timer starts, clocks down, and then whenever it's up, it'll beep really loudly and annoyingly.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have anything to say about timing yourself?
No, just keep track of time. You can easily lose track of your time if you don't pay attention to it. So it's really important to keep an eye on time.
Well, if you don't time yourself, it's going to defeat the whole purpose of scheduling out your day. Because, like John said, time will slip away from you, and you'll have spent 8 hours on one thing. So
not even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes us into tip number 3, which is strict start and end times for your day. So one of the easiest things to do when you're working on something, especially if you work from home, is to spend all day and night on one task that you plan to only spend an hour on. So that's a really great way to burn out too, by the way. So it's really important to set strict start and end times and stick to them. So that's one thing I think I've personally struggled with, is setting an end time. Actually, you too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like working up until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and you don't even realize it. I mean, the next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. and you're still working on a project that you're working on, and now you got to go to bed and get up in the morning. So you got to set parameters for when your day starts and when your day ends. You should also, I think, to add to this, I think, you should give yourself enough time throughout the day to get everything done comfortably, so you don't feel like you're rushing to the point of rushing from task to task just to get cram everything into a very short time span. You should start your day early enough and end at an appropriate time, so you have enough room to breathe, so to speak.
Yeah, and even schedule in like breathing time. If you need some
Yeah,
time to like just sit and stare at the wall or whatever you like to do, schedule that in and do it. But yeah, I mean, like John was saying, it's so easy. I think, when you hear people say they work from home, you might think, "Oh, you work so
yeah,
much less. It's
it's
so
actually harder.
easy." Yeah, actually you end up working way more. It becomes a very weird kind of blurred line, and you can work all day and all night.
Yeah,
And we've done that for years and
yeah,
we even still struggle with it. This is
yeah,
probably the one thing on here that we struggle with the most is having that strict end time, not saying, oh, let me just finish this, let me just do one more thing, oh, I'll just go jump on and
yeah,
do this, because that's a quick way to burn out and really make you miserable. So be strict about it,
yeah, exactly.
and if you're being effective, it really shouldn't be that much of a problem.
Yeah, it takes practice, that's for sure.
Okay, so the next tip here is be disciplined. So this one's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Basically, set up your calendar, set up the times you're going to spend on each task, set up your strict start and end times, and then stick to it. Don't stray from the plan that you've set for yourself, because if you're going to go ahead and schedule everything out and make this big plan and then not follow it, you might as well not bother, because you're just going to waste your time. So, don't make it a choice. Don't make it an option. Say, this is what I have to do. This is, I've laid this plan out. I have no choice. I'm going to do it, and then do it. It's really that simple. Just have some discipline, because that's really all of this is up to you. You can plan all you want, and you can have the best intentions, but at the end of the day, it's all up to you, especially if no one's looking over your shoulder, if you don't have a boss. The only one who's going to make you do something is you. So you have to have that discipline.
Exactly. I mean, it almost goes without saying, but it needs to be said, is to be disciplined for sure.
And that's probably the hardest one
And
for most people.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah,
mean, because discipline can go out the window pretty quickly, um, especially when you're working from home.
for sure.
That takes us to. Do you have anything else to say on that one?
Yeah, that's it. Short, sweet, simple.
Yeah, very simple. That goes into our fifth tip, which is be effective. So what does being effective really mean? Being effective to me means staying focused on what's going on. To say it in a long story short, just stay focused. So you could have 20 tasks on your to-do list and do all 20 tasks in the specified time frame, but only do them half-assed.
Or maybe they're 20
Or
meaningless
yeah,
tasks,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah, like 20 tasks that don't really mean much. You don't really move the needle. So you should focus on getting tasks done efficiently and as quickly as you can do them without belaboring the point. Because you can take a task that takes 20 minutes and do it over an hour and just kind of partially do it, but not really do it. It's like going to the gym and kind of working out, not really being focused or in the zone. It doesn't really count for much. You really make your time, be effective with your time, stay focused on what's going on, and make sure you do it to the best of your ability within the shortest time that you can possibly do it.
Yeah, and I think to add to that is to focus on, again, like John said, the things that move the needle. What do we mean by that? We mean things that are going to get you closer to your goal. And not everything is. There's plenty of things that I could think to do to add to my calendar that are pretty meaningless. Maybe they need to get done, but maybe someone else could do them. Or maybe I can knock them out as like a side task. They don't really need to be a big a focus. You need to find those things that are going to get you closer to your goal sooner and knock those out, because you know you can spend a lot of time working and not being very effective, or you can spend a little bit of time working and being super effective, and I'm pretty sure most of us would like to spend less time but be more effective. I'm assuming you said yes, I agree, because Yeah, because nobody wants to spend more time. You want to spend less time. So if you're super effective, you can spend less time working.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, I mean, when I hear time management, I get bored. To be honest, like I check out. But really, when you really think about time management and how important it is to make that a daily part of your everyday life, it's incredibly important because you need to if you want to progress forward, you need to get this right. And at first, it's you're not going to be perfect at it. You're going to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of tailoring. You're going to see what works and what doesn't work, and you're going to adjust from there. I know that's true for us for sure. Is time when you first lay out your schedule for time management, it may not always be perfect. You're going to realize, oh, I didn't need to spend 30 minutes on this, 60 minutes on that, 20 minutes on this. You're going to adjust the times appropriately and adjust the order of how you do things. One thing I'm a proponent of is knocking out the biggest stuff first, generally speaking. The stuff that's most taxing on your brain is to knock that out first, earlier in the day, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think we struggled with this a lot, and especially, if you do own a business or you're planning on starting one, you're going to find that it's overwhelming at times. There's so many things that could be done, at all times, and sometimes you struggle to figure out what you should work on, or you'll feel like you're spinning your wheels. And so it really wasn't until we truly started putting an emphasis on this and scheduling things out that things start to fall into place. You start to get so much more done, and you feel like you're actually achieving something rather than just kind of aimlessly, okay, I guess I'll work on this now. Okay, maybe now I'll do this. Like, it's just it's night and day, really. So if you want to be successful, um you got to get this right. It's absolutely required. I don't care if it's boring. Just sit down, do it, and you will thank us later. So, just to recap on what our tips are. Number one is calendar blocking. So you got to assign specific times for specific things and put it in an actual calendar. Whether you want to write it in a calendar like old school, or you want to put it in your phone or tablet, whatever. Number two was time yourself. So making sure that you are actually adhering to those times that you have set for yourself. Three is strict start and end times. So start your day at a specific time, end it at a specific time. Don't just work and blur the lines and feel like you're a zombie. That's not going to help you. Four was be disciplined. So none of this is going to work unless you have the discipline to adhere to the things that you've laid out for yourself. If you just set it out and don't do it, then it was pointless. So have some discipline. And lastly, be effective. And we went over several ways of how to do that, but just make sure that you are actually knocking out tasks that are meaningful, and that you're putting your all in for the specific amount of time you've set out, so that you can actually move the needle and get closer to your goal.
Bingo. That's it. That's
Okay.
it. That takes us into our
Idiot fact of the day.
Yep. That never gets
So,
old. So, okay.
what's your idiot fact, John?
So I found an idiot fact. It's about Play-Doh. The stuff you played with as a kid.
I have some Play-Doh.
Yeah, actually you do.
Yeah, actually, currently. So,
I
yeah.
hope you don't eat it.
Yeah, I like to smell it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It smells good. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's something about it. It's like smelling a marker.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't do that. That explains some things.
Does it?
Yes. Okay.
All right. So Play-Doh actually wasn't always a children's toy. In fact, it was first developed as wallpaper cleaner. Play-Doh was wallpaper cleaner. I mean, I would have thought that Play-Doh would have developed.
Do you know how they decided it was a child's toy?
Actually, I don't know. So actually, they what I read was it wasn't until the manufacturer realized that the non-toxic nature of the product would make a great children's toy.
Oh, wow.
And by that, the whole aim of the product changed. So basically, they probably what happened is they probably created this wallpaper cleaner and realized, oh shit, not many people are going to be buying this. How else could we market it?
Yeah, who the hell cleans wallpaper? Is that something people even do?
I know. Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like a magic eraser.
So I guess you can use Play-Doh to clean your wallpaper if you have any?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, you could just roll. Yeah, I don't know though. If you rub like pink Play-Doh on a white wallpaper,
Yeah, maybe
It'll
not.
probably rub off the color.
Hmm.
You could try it as a project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, that just goes to show, you could start. I mean, think how popular Play-Doh is, right?
Yeah.
And if they hadn't pivoted, like we've talked about in other episodes, they would be a very poor or out of business company
Yeah.
selling wallpaper cleaner versus a multi-billion-dollar company selling a child's toys. So,
Mind blowing.
yeah, never be stuck in, don't focus on specific outcomes and be able to pivot.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you never know where the road will take you, is the bottom line.
Exactly. Okay, cool. I like that fact.
I mean, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so John, any final words?
Manage your time, you fools.
Okay. Yeah, and just
Don't-
like us, we're managing our time, so we better end this episode so we can get on to something else.
Yeah,
So.
we got other stuff.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. Until next time.
All right, we'll listen to you on the flip side, guys. Peace.
Bye.